What are you doing, Sue?
Well, we are in Milwaukee and it's June, and there's a lot to do in Milwaukee in June, but not this year. So no summer fest, no state fair, no outdoor festivals, nothing. So we're actually getting ready to take a bike ride.
Okay, so it's June 29th.
June 29th.
And who are we going to visit?
We're off to visit Marcia, our visitor in Palm Spring from that video. So we're going to do some distance socializing in her backyard.
Actually, Marcia came to visit us in Florida with Kathy recently also.
Palm Spring 1 year, Florida last year, yeah.
Why don't you grab the camera and I want to say something to the folks. We're basically a travel channel just to show you where we go. We're two retirees that got nothing to do but ride around in this thing. But along the way we learn things, and we actually enjoy putting on film and sharing with you guys something that we learned. Why don't you back up a second, Sue? Don't fall over your handlebars here. I want to show you something. We recently got these e-bikes, and you look at this just bursting at the seams here. I'll tell you what's in there in a second. And then you look at this bag here that is not necessarily bursting at the seams, but it's full. A pro tip, when you finally get your e-bikes and you finally do put bags on, get bags way bigger than you ever think you're going to need. Because we have such big bags now, we can do all sorts of things last minute. There actually is a cooler in here. We're going to visit Marcia, and we're going to try to social distance properly, so we'll have our masks on. We're bringing our own lunch, so we're not cross-contaminating with people, trying to be responsible. We can do that because we have these bags. Also, we carry all sorts of rain gear and different things when we're dancing. We have shoes. So trust me, your bags on your bike can never be too big. They almost always can be too small if you don't get them the right size.
Well, especially if you have an e-bike, who cares how heavy they are?
Right, you get your motor will get a little bit more exercise by putting more stuff in it. All right, well, let's get cracking, Sue.
All right. Yes, I'm still videotaping you.
Well, I got to make sure everything's still locked up and the water pump's off. I got the water off. I'll be right back.
I guess we're not. Let's get going. While Mark is turning off things in there, I just want to show you what we're doing here. I've got this app. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there it is. Map My Ride. That is an awesome app, because not only will it let you map like if you're going to walk, but you can also choose if you want to ride your bike. Oh. All right, done. So now you can see that it's showing where we are, and it's actually going to show the duration, the distance, and it'll show the route. So it's kind of nice, especially if you're going to be in places you don't know, because it'll map it, but it'll also leave a trail behind wherever you're going. So if you get lost, you just follow the trail to get back to where you parked your car. So map your ride. Here we go.
In the 3 years that Sue and I have been traveling, one thing we've come to appreciate in the Milwaukee area is the vast amount of bike trails they have. We didn't know it was awesome until we left and traveled through the country, and now we see that Milwaukee has really got it together when it comes to bike trails. Off on the right here, you see we're going to drive by Myles, going to give it a little wave goodbye because we're going to be gone for a few hours. And we're going to, in fact, be turning onto the Hank Aaron Trail. Now, this is part of the Milwaukee Oak Leaf Trail system. We're actually going to connect up with a couple other legs of the trail, and they all have different names, and I'm not about to tell you correctly which one we're going on. This trail is so familiar to us, we just zig and zag where we need to go. Now, I didn't want to bore everybody silly stupid on this video, so I kind of chopped it up just so that you can get a flavor to see all of the different things that you'll experience when you're on it. And one of them that's kind of cool is going through and underneath all of the freeway systems that you'll encounter along the way. This particular leg here for the longest time was discontinued because you can imagine this was filled with all sorts of construction equipment while they were building it. Now that it's been completed, we're so happy to be able to duck under here without having to do any zigging and zagging to get around it. When Sue and I first started biking seriously, it was with our recumbent bikes, which were super comfortable, and many times we would take a ride that was 17 miles one way to downtown Waukesha, and we would dance and drink and eat, and then on the way back we would ride this trail at night, literally in the 11 and 12 o'clock at night mode. Now you can watch here as we're going underneath this bridge. It's like, oops, oopsie, here's this pickup truck coming through. So you kind of always have to be cognizant of what you got going on there. And it's when you discover that you really do need a bell on your bike, because we're of the habit now when we get to things like that, we ring our bell a number of times so that if there's a jogger or a walker or anything, they know we're coming out. Now, eventually, when you want to switch trails, there's all sorts of connectors like this branch here, and it's eventually going to connect us up with Greenfield Park. And sometimes periodically you have to spill out into a roadway that might just be a few blocks, or it could be a mile that connects you where you need to be. And that's when it's nice to have a software program like the TrailLink.com. We subscribe to that, and that shows us all of the wonderful trails that are throughout the United States. It's like one of the best values you can have, because it will rate the trail, tell you how cool it is, tell you the elevations that you're going to be encountering. And the best part is it will literally map you along the way, and you won't get lost, and you'll know which way to go. Now, off to the right here, that's actually the New Berlin Trail. So when I was telling you that we would go dancing at night, we would actually have taken that off to the right and driven into Waukesha. Okay. All right, I'll lead the way.
Oh my gosh, you have the camera on. I just pulled my underwear out of my butt. Caught that.
I'll have to, I hope I remember that.
Emphasize that.
Now, you'd never know it by looking at me now, but what's going to be coming up here is the area where I used to go to day camp when I was a young lad. My mother would drop me and my brother and sister off, and we would take summer camp in the picnic area that's showing here. We just drove by the swimming pool area, and it was just wonderful memories, probably my introduction into camping. But I also learned during playing different games like Capture the Flag that for whatever reason, it didn't matter how old you were. I was literally 2 or 3 times order of magnitude faster at running and darting from left to right than almost anybody that attended this camp. So it was really fun playing all of the games that required agility going left and right. I remember as I was growing up, and even when I was working in high school at the gas station, that this area that we're driving through right now always was one of the ritzy areas, and I was always in awe on how beautiful the homes were and the whole area. And it's funny how times change, because now I look at this area and I think, wow, this is still really nice, but now it's affordable for me as I've gotten this far along in my life. Sue's pointing off to the left here, another leg of the trail that we could be taking, but this particular road that we're taking going down memory lane with you guys, is this is where I used to test drive cars. So I can remember many times when I would test drive a new car, I would go on that road and I would just tromp on it. Well, we made it to Marcia's, and here we are, I don't know, about 9.5 miles later. We're gonna yank our lunch out of our side bags, have a little social distancing time with Marcia to try to keep from going stir crazy during this whole thing. And in a moment here, we'll continue on after our lunch.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hello. Good. You guys must be really hot.
You know,
You
the only thing that's hot is the motor.
know, I told them if we didn't have this motor,
Yeah,
I would not be doing this.
yeah.
I would not
Really
be
muggy
taking it.
today.
Yeah, it really is.
So
I walked
you
over
got to
and-
admit, you didn't get a whole lot of aerobic, but I mean, we got
Oh, it
something.
felt good. Air hug.
Air hug.
Good to
Yeah.
see ya. Yeah, no, it was. I kept thinking too. This feels so good with the wind, and it's like my ex and my first husband and I used to have a convertible, and it's like, oh, it felt so good. I never was into motorcycles. They scared me, and I'm like, this is even better yet because I'm moving. I feel like I want to move, but I still get that sensation.
Yeah.
I get the sun, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm digging this. Plus, I got the reassurance that I'll get back. You got your stuff turned on?
Yeah,
Okay. Should I pull out the cooler right away, maybe?
yeah.
I did pack a couple iced teas.
Okay, oh, that'd be great, honey. I'm gonna leave my water here and get my iced tea.
Although you should drink your water, it has Propel.
All right.
Get the electrolyte thing going on.
Here's a screenshot of the Map My Ride app that Sue uses, and it shows that we traveled along the freeway for quite a while, and then we did a little zigging and zagging there on the top of the screen there. That's where I almost ran into the truck. And then we went straight south. We went through the golf course. Then we went through that nice subdivision that I was talking about. And eventually we turned, went up the road, and got to Marcia's. It took 40 minutes and 45 seconds. We traveled 9.12 miles. We're halfway through. When we go home, we will press the resume button.
We're almost at the end of our bike ride today. It's kind of windy, so I hope our microphone does the trick. I wanted to show you what's in back of where we're parked. Right here actually is the Olympic skating rink where training is done sometimes. That's kind of shifted to different elevations. I think it's shifted to Colorado now mostly. But you can see here that this is one of the main entranceways to get into State Fair Park, which is not going to be run today or this year. Over this way, Sue, you can see if people come into the park and they go underneath the bridge that we're standing on, they would in fact be going here, and that's where all of the fair activities is. But where are we parked? Pan over this way, Sue. That's the Wisconsin State Fair RV park. There's no pool, there's no nothing, there's hardly any grass. It's a big pile of asphalt, full hookups, great power. The building with the two spires, that's the office where the showers are and the laundromat. And then it's just solid people, pretty much right next to each other, bumper to bumper, all stacked up in here for all the wonderful things there are to do in Milwaukee during non-COVID seasons. And I think pretty much the majority of the people that are there are just visiting family and friends. It's not like they came here to go to the zoo this year. So that's where we are. We got about another half a mile and we'll be back in a rig. All right, we gotta fly the drone and put the drone in the bag of the bicycle. Okay, I hope I don't